Garrett Blevins here with a log of days 1 and 2 of week 4 on the KingRTS split. Day 1 is deadlifts and floor press, and day 2 is an upper body pump day. On deadlifts today, I focused on making sure I did not have a soft lockout. So you're going to see probably some overextended maybe deadlifts on some of these. Did pretty good from the floor today. It was a speed protocol. For a set of 8. I was actually supposed to do it in 15 seconds, but because I was letting the bar settle on the ground, and I think also because I was kind of holding it at the top a little bit, it actually ended up taking me about, I think, 20 seconds to finish this out. But felt pretty good about it, felt strong through the reps. Block pulls only did the first set without straps. My hands were getting a little bit torn up, so I need to file my calluses. I actually ripped a callus on this. And decided to go with a 5x5. This is probably going to be one of my last building phases. I'm going to focus a little bit more on volume this week. I may have some intensity sets here and there, but in general the theme of this week is going to be back to volume. Last week beat me up pretty good. And so did a 5x5 with these block pulls for quite a bit of volume on deadlift. I think I may have been around 21,000 pounds of total deadlift. 17,500 of that was from working sets, so that's a lot of deadlift. I was pretty tired the next day. This beat me up pretty good, so I did throw on the straps for the last, I believe, 4 sets, and really started externally rotating, getting my knees out, getting close to the bar, and that made the block pulls rather really smooth. Floor press, I started doing sets of 3 with 365, moved up to 385. And then did 2 sets at 405, and these all went pretty good. I was still tired. Last week, went real heavy with that touch and go bench. That would have been Tuesday, and so it hasn't quite been a week since that rep. This is Monday for this workout, and was still a little sore. My left pec has been tight, but it hasn't felt injured. But that was giving me trouble last cycle, and cramped up on me pretty good. Kind of pulled it a little bit last cycle, so I need to be careful on that. Because of that, I decided to throw on the slingshot, and even though this is overload work, the weight is lighter at the bottom and heavier at the top because of the way the slingshot works, and also it's already a reduced range of motion, so there's not a lot of shoulder impingement or mobility necessary for this sort of work. And so this was a good option for the day to use a little bit heavier weight and get some reps. I had to cheat there on the last rep to get it up, but got through it. So that did it pretty much for day 1. This is day 2, which I did earlier today. This is Tuesday. And decided to do a bunch of sets of 20. I think I ended up doing 5 or 6 sets of 20 with 185, doing kind of these half reps. I'm not locking it out all the way. And just to get really a good upper body pump, I then went to overhead press. Some of these I'm going to speed up, so I'm not actually lifting the weights this fast. This is fast forwarded. And just to work the shoulders more, work on mobility, get my chest opened up, have some active recovery, get the blood flowing through there. These sets felt pretty good. I'm happy with my shoulder mobility right now. It's a lot better than it's been in the past. After I did those overhead presses, I went for some more close grip benches, but I was not tucking my elbows. I was flaring them, really trying to activate the chest and loosen things up. And so I did a couple of sets of this with 185. Then bent rows with 135. This is actual speed. I was trying to do these pretty fast. Hit my upper back a little bit, lats, and also try to get my biceps pumped. Kind of the goal for today, I wanted to see how big I could get my arms. It's been a long time since I really tried to do that, so figured I'd give it a shot. I then went over and did a bunch of cable work. I start here, I think I do sets of 10 each arm, then drop set to sets of 8, sets of 6, sets of 4, sets of 2, and kept the weight static. In case anybody wants to know, I think I'm using 70 pounds on this cable. I don't know what in the world that equates to in real weight, like a barbell, so take it as it is. I just pretty much did it till I got tired. And this is something I really like to do for my arms. You'll see I'm not doing strict curls. I'm really curling across my body in this. And that helps me actually activate my shoulder and get some internal rotation work as well. And so I'm working my shoulders and my biceps at the same time. And I really like that. I then moved to tricep press downs, one arm. And you'll watch, if you look at my hand position through these reps, even though they're sped up, you'll notice that I kind of circle my wrist back and forth through these reps, and that's to hit different parts of my tricep to get all of it. I'm stronger with a neutral grip on triceps. So if I rotate back and let my wrist kind of go limp, where it's kind of crunched back towards my my forearm, it's a lot harder for me to do it. So I mess around with that with cables, and finished with some barbell bicep curls. For anybody that's curious, arms got up to right at 19 inches today, so felt pretty good about that, especially at, 220 weight right now. On a more serious note, other than that jokey upper body pump day, I wanted to talk about the strength to endure. This is something that a lot of people, especially in Christian circles as I've seen it, kind of ignore. And I think the reason they ignore it is it makes people feel uncomfortable. A lot of times we do things because it's more comfortable for us, or it feels good, or it promises a lot of reward. And, in general, if I was going to, explain how people live their lives, it's to maximize pleasure while minimizing pain. But that's not necessarily what the Christian life is about. Paul talks here about his understanding of ministry, that they have a treasure. And the treasure is the acknowledgement that Jesus Christ, the one who was crucified, the one who came in weakness and self-sacrifice, that one is actually the Lord, and the one whom we should be following, the example that we should follow, who is their Savior. And Paul says, he has this treasure, this secret, and he calls his body a jar of clay, so that it's obvious that the glory that is present in his ministry is not from himself. And so he is in all kinds of affliction and trial and tribulation and difficulty. And the way in which God strengthens and enables him is not by removing the things that are difficult in his life, but by giving him the strength to endure through them, so that no matter how bad life gets, he can move through it. And that kind of staying power, that kind of endurance, that's what's meant in the passages, like Philippians is quoted a lot. I think it's 4:13. And it's, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Well, what that means is you can get through anything you go through God who strengthens you. Not you're going to be strengthened so much that you overcome everything in your life as a cakewalk. And I think that's something important, especially in the Christian life and in weightlifting, is that you have to have the strength to endure the difficult workouts, especially if you're oriented towards powerlifting or bodybuilding. Hypertrophy work is extremely difficult, and it's painful at times, especially in the recovery phases. Your diet can be painful. You may have to endure, eating food when you don't want to, and eating the kinds of food that you don't want to eat. And the same with powerlifting, having great weights upon your body that stress you and tax you, to be pressed but not crushed, is very similar to the way that Paul describes his ministry there. So that passage speaks to me. I hope it does to you also. Wherever you're at, hope you all are doing well. Blessings.